Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's March. Like, what the actual F? Time is flying. I feel like I blinked and we're in March now, but I'm not mad at it. Like, I have been really just allowing myself to take things one step at a time and really learn to kind of go with the flow, but still have structure where needed. And it's a skill, guys. Like, I think that's something that we all have to understand, that nobody's perfectly organized all the time and perfectly prepared all the time. Maybe like the freakiest of perfectionists, right? But that's okay if they are, right? But most of us are just doing our best, right? So with that being said, y'all, I just had to block out a good 30 minutes for this podcast, because on this podcast episode today, I'm going to be sharing everything that I know and I have learned so far about quitting my 9 to 5 to make an income doing what I love. Having that financial freedom, having that freedom of time, and just doing what I love on a daily basis. How did I do it? How can you do it for yourself? What things do you need to kind of overcome, look at? I'm going to be going over everything around, the difference obviously between passive and active income, right? I'm going to be going into a little bit about business habits for, building your own business that is fueled by your passion, right? I'm going to be going into money mindset and consciousness, that, things that I've learned to help me be, get myself on the consciousness level to be able to attract the abundance that I do have and continue to attract more of it through service and impact, right? So I'm going to be going into that and how I kind of worked on my negative mindsets and scarcity mindset around money and security and all of that. And I'm really excited. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this and go from there. So if you like, this is something that you want to do for yourself, right? But you also just don't even know like where to start. Like, maybe you're the type of person where you just don't even know like how you would even make that money for yourself, right? Like how you would even, like what passions you have. Like you don't really know anything about your own passions, or maybe you do have certain passions, but you look at them as more as hobbies and you don't really take them as something serious that you could, make a steady income on and do what you love on a daily basis, right? So that was me as well, guys. I did not know what really I was passionate about. It's not like I always knew I wanted to be a women's online health coach. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, okay? But I always say, if you can invest time and energy and money into these two areas, you will find out so much more about yourself. And that is into your physical health and fitness and into your financial education and your wealth consciousness. Okay? More so your wealth consciousness, just because you can learn about like IRAs and CDs and like you can learn about investments, but if you're not working on your relationship with money and the subconscious beliefs that you have programmed to think about money and finances and income and, jobs and all of that stuff, you will get nowhere, okay? So through literally just wanting to become a healthier person, I found my purpose, right? It's such a long story. For if you want to know more about my actual fitness journey and how I got to where I am today, that's one of my first podcast episodes. You can scroll all the way down and listen to that. It's a 2-part series. It's really, really good. How I overcame my eating disorder, where it all started, and how I basically got to where I am today. And I'm so passionate about what I do, guys. I am so passionate about what I do. I've been building this business. I started doing like free clients back in 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018 to 2019. I was really working with like free clients, like friends and family here and there. And I really just wanted to get them results. I obviously had gotten my certifications. I actually Because some people get their certifications and they fucking cheat or they didn't do shit, right? Like I literally studied and did the things that I had to do simply because I was passionate about learning those topics, right? So what am I getting with this? What I'm getting to is that this was built over time, okay? So there's a big difference between passive and active income, right? So I feel like passive income is what a lot of us think about when we think about, relieving the financial burdens that we may be experiencing and wanting to, like, maybe you hate your job and like you just want to make your own money doing what you love, have your own time, whatever. And you look up and you may see passive income and it's like all this stuff that comes up, right? Passive income is built over time, guys. Passive income takes, like, you have to learn so much and put it into action. And that's why you have to be, in my opinion, so you may not feel this way, someone else may tell you different, but I believe in order to create passive income, you have to be passionate about it. Like, you just have to, whether it's passive, I don't know about for active, but we'll go into that in a bit. But business is not easy. Business is filled with ups and downs. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a mission, a purpose. And I will say that I'm very mission driven when it comes to this, because I struggled with an eating disorder. I overcame it. I got educated. I healed my own relationship with food, got my results, and worked with multiple coaches as well that I learned so much from. And now that's what I do. And it's a mission that I have, right? But if you're just doing it for the sake of making a buck, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to go far. You're just not. Like, I know so many people who get into the online health coaching space just because they want to make some extra money. It is not as easy as it seems. Like, it seems like, I think on social media, they glorify it a lot. And listen, I love what I do, but you're dealing with real people here. You're dealing with people who have fears and traumas, and, I wish it was as simple as like every single person who like invested in themselves would have the most amazing transformation ever. And while we do get amazing results, it's because of that client putting in the work, right? But if there's so much resistance built up, you have to be a fucking amazing coach. You have to love coaching. You know what I mean? So with that being said, because I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, passive income is something, it's a skill that you would want to build. It's something that you're usually passionate about, right? Active income is going to be like, you need money right now. You need it right now. You got to get it. You got to go out and get it right now. You don't have time to like go through a course to like build your business or hire a mentor. Like, you don't have time for that. Then that's where obviously active income comes in. And that is, you could like things like DoorDash, Instacart, like go out and get your bag right now. Right. So that's like a way to make active income, obviously, but we're going to be diving more into the mental, spiritual part of things in a bit as well. Passive income has to be passionate. It just, in my opinion, I would not, I've literally thought about so many times about, should I just like, and not all the time, right? Like, just in moments where things are really difficult, like, I'm just like, oh my God, like, is this worth it? Like, oh my God, like, can I just go back to, just getting my paycheck every other week or whatever? And there's nothing wrong with 9-to-5s, by the way, guys. Like, I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that like bashes 9-to-5s. Like, no. But if you're going to make passive income, in my opinion, it has to be something that you're passionate about. Just because business is not easy. It's not always smooth. And you're just like, it's like, why are you going to swap a job you hate for another job you hate? You know what I mean? Like, you should love what you do, in my opinion. Like, every day I wake up and I look forward to like doing what I do. And don't get me wrong, my job where I worked before, I loved. Like, I really did enjoy it. But I'm just the personality type where just the fact I had to get up and clock in at a certain time on someone else's own time, I just could not. Like, I just couldn't live with. Like, I needed to create my own schedule. I wanted to work digitally and be able to work from wherever. And when I was working from home, it was dope. But doing the same shit every day just felt so redundant. And I felt like I didn't have like a purpose in life that I was working towards. You know what I mean? And that's just me. Okay. That's just me. So look at the things that you're passionate about. Something that is a really good way to think about it is like, look at what you loved to do as a child. Like, what were certain things that you really enjoyed doing that just lit you up, right? Maybe it was like, for me, it was YouTube videos. I was always making YouTube videos. I was always doing like little things. And it's something that I'm doing right now, but I'm not, I know in the way future, as I'm consistent, it could help me with income. But, that's something that, I am doing just because I love it. Right. And it could be, maybe you love baking cakes, or maybe you're really good at baking cakes or something like that. I think it's something you're passionate about, or something that you're really, really good at that you kind of enjoy, right? Maybe you're really, really good at, writing. I don't know. Like, you could literally just freestyle or freelance on Fiverr or something like that, right? But just something that you enjoy doing and you wouldn't mind doing a lot. Maybe it's photography, maybe it's dance. I don't know. Like, you can literally create anything from nothing. But think about the things that you're either passionate about or things that you're good at and that you enjoy doing. Okay? Business is self-development with a paycheck. Okay? So your business is a representation of your belief systems. So your business will progress as far as like your belief systems, deadass. I did not do this on my own. I think I was like in business. No, I had a mentor from the second I started, charging people for services. I had a mentor. I worked with Zach Colborn at PTBI. He's freaking amazing. I invested like $5,000, not paid in full because I did not have that laying around, even though I should, right? Like, we should all have the savings, but we shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And I literally threw up. I threw up on the sales call. Like, I tried to get out of it. I was like, I need to think about it. Like, I need to like sit on it. I need to fucking meditate on it. He's like, what do you need to meditate on? Like, we just, talked a whole hour about how this is what you need, how you're tired of this. This is what you want to do. Let's do it. Like, no talking yourself out of it. And I literally was like, okay, he's right. I just need to feel the fear and do it anyway. And guys, I literally threw up after the call. I threw up. And I really think I was purging like generational, ways of living when it comes to scarcity mindset with money. And I had never invested that much money into myself. And like, obviously you have self-doubts. Like, is this going to work? Like, am I capable? Can I do this? Like, blah, blah, blah. But you best believe I made it worth every penny, and it is definitely paid off. So your business is self-development with a paycheck. Okay. I got really big into reading and podcasts. Like, I remember like every day I set a goal that I would read 10 pages of a book that would help me either increase my level of consciousness. So like, whether it was like a spirituality book or a law of attraction, or, just like anything, to really, really support me in my self-development, my spiritual development. Right. And guys, like, I grew up very Christian. And now I kind of just have no labels. Like, I just believe in everything. I love everything. Like, it all comes down to the fact of like love. But, like, learning about levels of consciousness and the law of attraction, no matter your, what you believe, can be very, very powerful, because it's just science. It really is. It's scientific. I'm not going to go too into it, but everything has a vibration. Like, if you break down everything is made up of cells, right? Those cells are made up of molecules. Those molecules are made up of atoms. I hope that's right. But of atoms, and those atoms have a positive and negative charge. So the way that you think determines the way that you feel, which determines the level of your point of attraction, which means you are what you attract, right? So this isn't like woo-woo shit. This is like basic quantum physics, okay? So learning about it really helped me understand what I was attracting in my life, because you're not a victim. Like, it's not your fault, the circumstances that you go through, the traumas that you go through. That's not what that means, but it does mean that we're all not victims. We're just not. Like, we all at some point in time have a choice on how we what thoughts we choose to believe in, what thoughts we choose to let play in our heads. And whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right? And that's kind of where that stems from. But going back to what I was saying, guys, like I just dove into, I'm a very curious growth mindset. Like any question that pops into my head, I Google it. You know what I mean? I never understood, and this is no shame to anybody who does this, like, at all, but I never understood when someone is like walking around with a problem that they can easily fucking Google and find a solution for. Like, for example, I don't know how to cook chicken. Like, I just don't know how to cook chicken. You know how I learned how to cook chicken? I fucking YouTubed how to cook juicy grilled chicken meal prep, and I found a freaking YouTube recipe that is super easy, and like it's that's how I make my chicken every day now. You know what I mean? So it's like the solutions are there, but a lot of times our ego thinks it knows everything. So like we go, oh, that's not gonna help. Like, how do you know that? It's that fixed mindset, right? So I always had a curious, open mind when it came to everything. I questioned everything. I was always curious. So I got really big into reading, podcasts. Every time I was trying to pour into my spiritual development, my mental development. And obviously, guys, like, you're not a self-improvement project. Like, we're human. Like, we're not going to be like these perfectly functioning things all the time, but I'm just sharing my experience. And that's just how I was. Like, I really desired to create that reality. And I knew that I had a lot of work to do inside. And I wasn't going to do it by just fucking off any second that I had, right? Now, I will say that this did create a little bit of guilt later on. Like, I felt like if I wasn't doing something, then I felt like I wasn't doing enough, then I should investing this time to be doing other things that are more beneficial to me. But I've learned since then to find that balance. Okay, you got to have that balance. But a lot of us spend a lot more time scrolling on social media than we do investing in time into ourselves. And that's just the truth. Or we're investing time and energy into others and not prioritizing ourselves, right? And it's like, how can you embody that version of yourself that has the life that you want, but at the same time, you're not setting boundaries, you're letting people use you, and you're just kind of just on autopilot, you know what I mean? So got big into books, podcasts, because at the end of the day, guys, your business is going to be a representation of what you believe. So you will go, like, your business will go as far as like you believe it will, right? So I also was really big at protecting my energy and mindset at all costs. And again, like, investing time and energy into reprogramming my brain. Guys, we all have been taking on programmings and judgments and projections from people since the second we were freaking born. Okay. So I know that how can you believe in something when you already have beliefs that completely go against that, right? It's like your conscious mind knows XYZ, but subconsciously there's still a disconnect, right? There's still a disconnect there. It's like your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are speaking two different languages, right? So I really got into learning how to rewire my brain. And I did this through daily affirmations right when I woke up. The second I woke up, because that's when your subconscious mind is the most spongiest. The second I woke up every day, I really, really struggled to believe that I could, do what I do now. And so because of that, I literally drilled those positive affirmations around abundance, around finances, around self-confidence in my brain every single day until I believed it. And guys, the results from that are freaking insane. Like, don't sleep on that. So the second I woke up, I would put on YouTube, like, morning affirmations for abundance, morning affirmations for self-confidence, morning affirmations for positivity. And some videos are corny as hell, so like, find one that you like. But I did that every day as I'm getting ready for my day. Instead of going on my phone and scrolling, I would just go straight to YouTube, look it up, and put it right next to my sink as I'm doing my, wake up routine and all of that. Okay. The next thing I did to help increase my wealth consciousness and attract the life that I love at such a young age too is hiring a mentor and not being afraid to invest in myself. Guys, I didn't have the means. I did not have the means to invest in myself. Okay. I live in South Florida. I was paying hella rent. Okay. I also was overspending in certain areas that I wasn't willing to not spend in. Okay. So like, beauty and all of that. And that's just the truth. And when the opportunity came to me, I knew it was what I needed, but I was so afraid of like putting myself in a financial hole, right? Because I had never invested that type of money in myself. But my coach, he always reminded me on focusing on the return on that investment, the return that I'm getting. Like, yes, I'm investing this money into a mentor, but I'm going to get something out of it. And I just have to believe, like, if you can just believe that you're worth it, then you can do that, right? And at the end of the day, guys, if it's something you really desire, you'll make it happen. Whether that's picking up a second job or, doing some extra DoorDash on the side or, like trying to figure out some type of payment plan or something like that. Because I know, at least for me, I'd be spending the same amount of money at the drop of a hat when it comes to experiences or luxuries or certain things. So investing in ourselves can be scary because we have to put our belief in ourselves and our belief that this person can really help us, right? And I chose to believe that. I really did, and it has paid off. And the right mentor too, right? Like you definitely want to do your research and know who you're working with. Okay. Obviously, I was able to manifest the life that I'm living right now. And like I said, a lot of that had to do with unlearning and doing a lot of reprogramming of my mind in order to increase my point of attraction, right? So if, let's say you really desire something, but at the same time, you fear that it'll never happen for you. Consciously, you really want it, but subconsciously, you're like desperate for it. Like you're so fearful that it'll never happen for you. You're not certain. So then your point of attraction is actually a place of, it's at a point of lack and fear. And the universe can't deliver when you're in that point of attraction of lack and fear, right? You attract what you are, point blank, period. So by practicing unlearning and shedding off those inauthentic parts of myself and understanding like what were my limiting beliefs, like what beliefs were holding me back, what do I say, what stories do I tell myself around certain situations, right? Digging that up, identifying where it comes from, doing the healing work, and then the positivity work and all of that. So everything starts with a desire, then an intention, then you visualize and you put yourself in the place of already having that thing that, or experience that you want and desire. You work on any limiting beliefs or fears that come up. So let's say your dream goal is like you have this dream body that you envision in your mind, right? Like you love where you are, but like you want to just be better, do better for yourself, right? But when you envision that, it gets you excited, but at the same time, you are like, you like doubt it. You know what I mean? Like you're like kind of questioning, can I actually like have that reality? Can I actually can I actually do that? You're like questioning it, which is totally normal. That's a part of the process. But you write those thoughts down. Become the observer of your thoughts and go, what makes me believe that I can't have that reality? You challenge those thoughts. You go, what makes me believe that I can't have that reality? What makes me believe that like I'm not, capable of that? Right? Because that's going to stem from somewhere. It's going to stem from either other people telling you in your life that you're not capable. It's going to stem from, lower self-worth, right? Or maybe you have always half-assed everything in your life. Like you'll start something and you won't finish it, you won't follow through. So maybe a little bit of lack of self-trust. And then because you identified, okay, like this is kind of where I'm struggling, then you now identified it, which is great. You have the self-awareness. Now you can then work on that exact thing that you're struggling with. So if you're struggling with self-trust, self-belief, then I need to be pouring into reprogramming that. You pour into affirmations. You find books around building self-trust. This podcast around building self-trust, and you pour into that area, right? You cut off people in your life who are fucking with your energy and your peace, right? And then the last part, and the hardest part sometimes, is then being open to receiving that desired reality. And this happens sometimes, guys. Like, I know that with me and my business, one time I hit a wall in revenue and all of that. And for me, it wasn't like the money. It's just like, I know that the money represents my scale of impact. And if I want to scale my impact and service, then obviously that's going to be a representation of revenue, right? Because essentially the more money that we're making what that actually means is we're helping more women. You know what I mean? And more women are changing their lives. So that's what that means. But with me, it's like, I struggled for a long time to actually be open to receiving. Like, you know what I mean? I struggled to charge my worth. I was undercharging for a while because I just felt like I, wasn't worthy, or I felt like, whatever, you know what I mean? Even though I was. But at this point now we are, because I've healed that. I've worked on that. But I struggled. Like, I know a lot of our girls, even like within their fitness journey, like when it comes to reaching their dream body, like let's say they get really close, like they're starting to look good, you know what I mean? And then they start to self-sabotage because a part of them is struggling to be opening to actually like accepting and receiving that desired reality. It's like, oh shit, like it's actually kind of like that fear of success, right? It's like, damn, like, okay, well, what if I am actually capable? Well, I don't know how to live with that. Like, I don't know how to actually be capable. Like, I'm so used to feeling like I'm not capable. You know what I mean? Like, that's the identity I've identified with for so long. Like, how do I live in a reality where I actually have those things? Like, I feel like I'm going to attract more haters. I'm going to attract more negative comments. Every time I work on my health or I talk about this thing I want to do, I only get negativity. Like, what happens, like, if I actually start to stand out? You know what I mean? And I know that that's how I felt. And like a lot of our girls too as well, whether it's with your body or your financial situation or whatever, you can kind of have that fear of success, but being able to accept that desired reality when it comes and being open to receive is the last part of that manifestation. And if you feel resistance toward it, right? Maybe you struggle to receive support. Maybe you struggle to ask for help, where you're like, you feel like you can do it all on your own, or you just don't believe it when it comes, or you're trying to control every outcome instead of just surrender. Because a big part of being open to receiving is surrendering to that higher source, that higher power, surrendering to the universe and God of like, okay, I have to trust the process, right? I can't be in control of every little thing. Because when I try to control every little thing, I'm basically telling God, like, fuck off, I got this. You know what I mean? I couldn't do this without my connection to that higher power, that higher source, that inner being, that higher self, right? So how I was able to become open to receiving, again, goes back to my money mindset, okay? So I didn't realize that the reason why I felt guilty about like having more financial abundance, and I felt guilty about how like living just like this, just being happy. I felt guilty for being happy. Like literally I felt guilty for being happy. And I think this is because growing up, my dad, he basically would always, like, I just remember like money was like this icky, greedy, dirty thing. And like basically people who had financial abundance or wealth, are greedy and they're stuck up and they're this and they're that. So as I started to create more financial wealth for myself through doing what I love, I started to kind of like manifest literally situations that made that money go away, whether it was a big expense or just mindless spending, or I just didn't know what to do with it. Like I was like, oh my God, like what do I even do with this? Like I'm just going to spend it, right? So through healing my connotations with money and understanding that money is nothing, it's an energy, and it's an energy of abundance, right? And healing that connotation with money really helped a lot. Working on my scarcity mindset as well. Obviously, like a big thing is feeling like, your 9 to 5 is like a secure thing. But security is an illusion, guys. This is my humble opinion. I believe security is an illusion. Okay. I thought I'd have less security working for myself, but any corporation can just drop me at any time and I would be out of a job with zero skills to build anything out of nothing. But building a business has built me the skills to build something out of nothing at any point in time, right? Because my energetic point of attraction will equal that financial abundance, right? I'm running out of time here now, guys. So I'm going to end it here. May or may not do a part 2, and bye.